Hey, what's up everybody? Video 44 coming at you another video. Alright, so I hope y'all enjoy my Laker Kobe Bean Bryant statue video, man. I just wanted to come down here and check it out. You can probably still see it from where I'm at. See it across. Yeah, that's it right there. And something coming. But, yeah, I actually like it, man. It's a nice statue. Looks pretty good up close. So yeah, man, for those who criticized it, said it wasn't the greatest, it looks better in person to me, to be honest with you. It really does. But yeah, man, 2 more of those coming up. It's gonna be very, very special when they put the second one up. I'm sure probably what, 6 months from now is my guess. 8/2 or 8/24, or maybe on his birthday possibly. But I just wanted to come down here and check it out, man. Hopefully when there was hardly nobody down here. But yeah, man, I feel pretty good. Enjoying my day thus far. You know what I mean? Our team doesn't play until tomorrow, so today's a free day. Ain't a whole lot of traffic in this area right now, but you know, we will be ready to play those Clippers, and we had better beat those Clippers. That's what it really comes down to. I tell you the truth, man, we are on our last leg if we want to seriously make a push for the playoffs. Granted, the Utah Jazz have been losing games. A few others that are around us are not, though. They're winning games, and so we need to be serious about trying to bring it to these teams. And I told you guys, you know, when we were talking about what game Kobe would choose to take off to come back from the All-Star break, we're starting to see now that him choosing the Golden State game to take off and us losing that game was hurtful for the team, man. It did not help. It did not help. We really would have much better luck against some of these, you know, not so playoff contenders, man, like San Antonio. You can miss those games. Washington, you know what I mean? You can miss those games, but the games that have seeding implications and season series implications, you can't drop those games right now. I could argue we're the worst playing team in that flurry of teams that is trying to make the playoffs. All the other teams are winning games, so it's like, what do we expect to happen if we don't pick up our pace and start winning these basketball games? And given the fact we have a tough schedule ahead, the likes of the Denver Nuggets, the Timberwolves, the Clippers, 2 games against SAC, 1 game against OKC. I mean, it's going to get tough, man. It's going to get tough. You got that little Wizards game, but you know we don't hardly show up for games that are not big games. So it's like, depending on how the Lakers show up, we could go 2-8 over the next 10, and that'll throw us right out of that playoff hunt, man. That'll kick us right out of it. So they got to win some games, man. At the end of the day, the team got to win some games. If you're going to take this playoff push seriously, you're going to have to beat some people that maybe you're not favored to beat. You're going to have to come out here and possibly win some games and put you in a position to have some rest in the 4th quarter so that you don't tire out. These are things that are real for this team right now, you know. And so I'm not going to tell everybody that I'm all that confident. I don't think most people who are paying close attention to this are overly confident right now, especially given the fact of how we've been using our players and how little success we've been getting out of the roles that we're putting them in. A guy like Taurean Prince overused, you know, Dinwiddie not being utilized in a way that brings his strengths to the forefront. Put the ball in his hands, let him be a point guard. You gotta stick him in the corner and shooting threes and stuff like that. So I don't know, man. I'm a little concerned right now. As somebody who follows this team as closely as I do, I'm not liking none of this. I think that Golden State game was winnable. I think the Phoenix game, you know, listening to those who know this sport better than I, there was a lot of people who felt like we could have won that Phoenix game. I don't know, depending on how well they were shooting. You know, you're going to have to put up a lot of points. And that's why I was saying, you know, perimeter defense was important when the team was shooting that well. But given the fact that we found something offensively, we probably should have been leaning into our offense as a means of trying to win that basketball game. More Rui Hachimura, from what I understand, he's shooting, 43% from behind the arc? Now, granted, that's not a great sample size because it's not like we're giving him consistent 4 and 5 shots a game. And I don't know his percentage will stay that high if we would. But we do need to utilize him as a main piece offensively, and I just think that coach has misused Rui Hachimura since we got him. We have underutilized him when he's healthy. Now, when he's coming back from injury and all that, I give you a pass, but when the guy is 100% like he is right now, You need to start him, and you need to be trying to feed him as if you expect him to get 20 plus points a night. And I just think we've kind of utilized him as an afterthought. Sometimes we put him in. The majority of the time we're trying to use, Taurean, and it doesn't work, man. Taurean's going to shoot the ball, that's cool, but everything else you need him to do, you're probably best for just utilizing different players. And if our coach would allow us to have those players on the floor a bit more, it's not just me saying this, but everybody I've listened to feels we'd have a much better shot at competing, which is what this is all about. So I know I've been doing a lot of complaining about this Laker team. Yesterday I put a whole 40-minute rant that I had spliced into 2 different videos. I get that it's not a lot of net positivity coming out of me, but I just understand the urgency we're faced with, and dropping in 2 games fresh out of the All-Star break and not really playing that well against San Antonio leaves you feeling really, really bleak about what this team's prospects are for making the playoffs. We're going to likely be in the play-in tournament, and maybe not in the better half of that play-in tournament, as to which you win and you don't get another shot at it, or rather lose and don't get another shot at another game. So it's like, it's going to take us winning the OKC game, the Timberwolf game, a couple of them Shaq games. We're going to have to win those games. You're not expected to beat Denver, ever. Never. You expect it to beat Denver. You're probably not expected to beat the Clippers tomorrow. Probably not. So these are things that we just got to be honest about. If those are going to be 2 losses, then we can't afford to lose too many more. And I was listening to Laker Nation this morning. They made a good point. If we're going to be in a situation where we feel we can lock in the 10th seed, but can't move up to the 8th and 9th seed for whatever reason, if we get to a point like that, do we start scaling back on some of the minutes and the usage of some of our main guys? Because at the end of the day, if you got a one and done situation, the last thing you want is for your guys to be out because they have to miss the game because of an ankle or something. This is something that could be a real thing for the Lakers, as to which you're probably going to have them play that game and they're probably going to be hobbled. So it's like, can we really afford what we are faced with as a team in the event we have just simply overused AD and Bron? How healthy have they been all season? Very healthy. Do we expect that to continue? I hope so. I really hope so. But Bron is 39. AD is someone that has had injury issues that we know all about. So it's like, at some point in time, we just got to know that the mileage that we put on them this season could wear them down at any minute. And given the fact that AD got thoroughly outplayed by Jusuf Nurkic, one has to wonder if we're going to be entering a stage where Anthony isn't going to be the same Anthony he's been for the last couple months. We have to wonder if he's starting to get tired, man. And so, without a center, and we know Christian Wood is going to be out for the foreseeable future. We know now that Castleton in the G League hurt his wrist, so he's going to be out for the foreseeable future. We don't really have a center we can rely upon at this point, guys. You know what I'm saying? We don't have a center other than Anthony Davis, who would rather not play center most of the time. And Jackson Hayes, who I think is having a breakout, but not to the point where you need him to have that breakout. To the point where he's playing so well that you can just stick him out there for 30 minutes and win the game. Like, I don't think so. I definitely don't believe he's there yet. And so, while I've been impressed with Jackson, it's ever so important the Los Angeles Lakers find a way to get a center. Even if you have to waive a two-way guy and bring in another two-way guy at the center position, it's probably important you have that body now. So, these are things that we're thinking about, man. We've been brainstorming this issue for a little while now. Talking about the center position for probably over 2 years. And now we're in a space where we're trying to push for the play-in tournament or the playoffs. And we're going to be asking Anthony Davis to play a lot of minutes, or we're going to be asking our guys to be small. And, well, we know how that goes, man. We know how that goes, especially in Darvin Ham's system. So Darvin Ham is going to ask guys to be much bigger than they are. He's going to ask guys that have no business playing that position and big men roles to play big men roles. And it just doesn't bode well for what you have coming up against Jokic, against Zubats, against the Twin Towers in Minnesota, against, the guys in OKC. So that's my concern right now. The LA Lakers are a little thin. We're asking Anthony Davis to play a lot of minutes, and he might be tiring out in real time. If that Phoenix game is any indication. So I got my concerns, LA. We're going to push forward. We're going to have a good attitude about winning these basketball games. But to be honest with you, we need to win some games that we're probably not expected to. And in the event that we pull that off, I think we'll feel great about maybe scaling back on some guys' minutes. If not, it's going to be a fat race all the way to the end. And in that situation, in that specific situation, there's no guarantee somebody doesn't roll an ankle. And there's no guarantee guys don't just start losing hope and start mailing it in. I mean, we just don't know with this wishy-washy basketball team, quite honestly, with their personality as a team. They show up for some games, they don't show up for others. I want to know how they act when they feel they've won out of real estate in the seedings. Even though you haven't necessarily done so, will they mail it in once they psychologically believe that it's too much of a hill to climb to make the playoffs? So that's what I'm wondering about. We drop the next 8 games or something crazy like that, which is totally possible, with the exception of the Wizards game, for which you don't expect to lose. All the other teams are very good. How is this team going to react to that? And will our season be over because of it? So that's where my concerns are, man. I have more concerns than I have excitement at this point. We got to beat the Clippers. We got to beat too many teams that have already proven they can beat us in a short period of time, in a flurry, back to back to back to back to back. So it's like, all right, it's a tough stretch. You know, LeBron James don't know what he's going to do, but we know he's demanding probably $60 million for the next 3 years if he does want to re-sign with us. We got a lot to think about, man. Nobody wants to talk about the R word, but it's real. Rebuild is a real word now. You know what I mean? What happens if we don't want to re-sign LeBron to that, or if he doesn't sign with us? Does Anthony Davis want to stay here and be a part of whatever our retool, rebuild process will be? Can we get a Trae Young in trade or Donovan Mitchell? I mean, these are things that are going to have to be expressed fast. We're gonna have to address those things very fast. And so that's my concern with this basketball club. Are we in a position to save our backsides if for some reason we drop a couple games and it starts looking crazy for our playoff seeding process? And the answer is, you tell me. You tell me. I honestly don't know. And so that's what I'm here to say to everybody. I would love to tell you I'm much more confident. I would love to tell you that our team is just, we're hopeful and all of this. But I've watched about 30 seasons of basketball in my life, man. And to be honest with you, this is a tough stretch. You're going to have to really, really prove to yourself as a team that you can win games against teams that have already proven they can beat you in order to make playoffs. So our team tends to show up for big games. We tend to. And we're going to have to. And we can't just show up. We got to be victorious. And so they're going to tell the story, man. They're going to tell the story. We either do it or we won't, you know what I mean? But at the end of the day, if we don't, depending on what happens around the standings with other teams, we could be in real trouble. And the way teams have been winning as of late, like I said, we're probably the worst one right now. So that's what I'm telling everybody. I hope I'm wrong. I hope there's nothing to be worried about. We got a hell of a squad. We don't suck out here, but Darvin Ham has to tighten up these roles, and he's going to have to accept one thing. One thing I'm going to need Darvin to accept, man. Taurean Prince is not a Swiss Army knife, and he is not a power forward. He is not either of those two things. You can't ask him to guard the best players and expect to have too much success, and you can't expect him to rebound at all because he does not do that. He's not a very good rebounder. So if you're going to ask him to make changes to make up for guys who are not out there, it's going to be the team to suffer, man. You may want to go to Max Christie a little more. You may want to use Rui Hachimura a little more. You may want to go to some of these other guys, because at the end of the day, asking him to do too much provides us too little. VDL 44, I thank y'all for watching. Out.